This is Dan LaFave with Gravership Paranormal Investigations. We're here in San Angelo, Texas tonight to investigate the many different paranormal stories having to do with the Officers' Quarters 1 on Fort Concho. We're here tonight because there are many different paranormal stories about this building that is behind me. And a lot of people have encountered very, very strange, ghostly things inside. A lot of these strange stories have to do with sightings and encounters with the ghost of 13-year-old Edith Grierson. This was the daughter of Colonel Benjamin Grierson, who was a commander in the late 1800s here at Fort Concho in San Angelo, Texas. Upon 2 weeks of Edith turning 13, she contracted typhoid fever suddenly and passed away in the upstairs bedroom of Officers' Quarters 1 that you see behind me. Many people since those days have encountered her ghost from time to time. Sometimes she's been seen sitting on the floor playing with Jack, and she seems just ordinary as I look to you on this video right now. They discover that all of a sudden this little girl has disappeared. There's a story about a florist who came into Officer Quarters 1 behind me one day to put some flowers in the upstairs bedroom. He describes this story about walking up the stairs and walking into the bedroom immediately to his right side. This appears to be the bedroom of Edith Grierson. When he entered his bedroom that day, he saw a little girl sitting on the floor playing with jacks. She was actually blocking the doorway, so he had to either step over her or move to the side. He thought at the time this was just some little girl up here on the Fort Concho grounds who had just come into the building. Maybe she had lost her parents. He proceeded to put the flowers on the table behind her and then went into the next bedroom. He then thought that this is very, very strange, so he came back to the room and he discovered that this little girl had disappeared. Couldn't find her anywhere inside the Officer Quarters 1. He then went to the museum across the Fort Concho grounds and described his experience. They asked him to describe the little girl, which he did. They then told him that he had become one of the many people who have witnessed and encountered the ghost of Edith Grierson.
There's been 3 or 4 separate ghost stories. There was one particular incident where a Colonel Mackenzie had died. He was the only soldier to have died here. I think it was of a liver disease or something. Ghost walks the quarters and that he doesn't like women. But his name was Mackenzie, and he was known to be kind of harsh, you know, on the post. There's been some other ghost stories that have been told about this area. Of course, the most famous is the little girl that they seem to see, Edith Grierson. She died at the age of 12 or 13, towards the end of 12, almost 13. Apparently, they see her many times up at the top of the stairs or in the bedroom on the floor playing jacks. So that's something that a lot of people here have seen the little girl do, seen her doing. Edith Grierson has been one of those people that they've celebrated every year on her birthday here at Fort Concho. There's an official ceremony where they go outside and they do go through the ceremony of her birthday. So they always feel that, you know, she appreciates that. There's been a couple other stories of a man being seen in officers in the Blue headquarters. Cunningham. It was Cunningham, or Colonel Cunningham. He was an Irishman that died here. He came back to the quarters, I think in this building, to die here because he wanted to be close to soldiers and his friends. So there's been at least 3 deaths here in this house, or close to this house. At least those 3. There was one particular incident when a florist was told to come in and deliver flowers up to the top 2 bedrooms. And as he was delivering the flowers, he walked past a little girl that was sitting on the floor playing jacks. And she didn't say anything to him, and he just walked around and put the flowers down, and he came back. And she tends to look at you and smile at you to acknowledge your presence, and that's what was said that she did. She didn't say anything, but she did look at him and smile, and as he left the room, he turned around and she wasn't there. So there's been 3 or 4 several ghost stories that have happened in this area or in this house. We're hoping to gain some paranormal evidence that something exists here, or debunk the fact that there is nothing here. But either way, it's an investigation that needs to be looked at so we can explore possibilities. We're hoping to have some fun and gain some evidence, and at the same time have some experiences that might answer some of our questions about the place.
My name is Juan Carlos Cortez Jr. Been with the group ever since 2008. We're here at Fort Concho in San Angelo, Texas. We're here to investigate which a little girl, 13 years old, I believe, died of a sickness, and we're here to see if we can see her. Turn around, the little girl wasn't even in there.
Do you think you're gonna see a ghost tonight?
That's hard to say. In the paranormal, it'll be rare. But if it does happen, then we see a full body apparition. Maybe not me, or maybe the rest of the team. One's gonna see something.
My name's Edward De La Rosa. I work with Graveyard Shift Paranormal Investigations. Right now, we're here at Fort Concho in San Angelo, Texas. Actually, this headquarters we're in right now, there's the female, she was 13 years old. Her name was Edith. Apparently died here in the second floor in her bedroom. There's been several people that have seen her, apparitions of her playing on the floor, bedroom upstairs with tacks. There's also been, I believe, the father who also haunts his place, and the mom too. Hopefully we try to get some evidence and see some EVPs tonight, and see how the investigation goes.
Some people have heard some stories of this closet, and they say that this closet just opens for no reason at all. And I do believe that this is the closet that some people have been talking about. And they say that the doors just are latched, but for some strange reason these doors would just open up by themselves. So we're going to go ahead and explore this a little bit tonight, as well as the other stories, and see if we can capture this door opening on its own. How you doing? This is Dan LaFave again with the Graveyard Shift. I'm inside the officer quarters one of the main bedrooms downstairs. Again tonight, what we're going to be doing as we go through our investigation, we're going to try to confirm the many paranormal encounters and stories that people have had here on Fort Concho in the officer quarters one. These stories range from seeing ghostly apparitions of a little girl, also ghostly apparitions of soldiers and other things. Also hearing very strange noises, hearing screams at times, things that are very unnatural. Sometimes people have stayed here overnight in the officer quarters one, which again, the public can rent these quarters and see for themselves if some of these stories are true or not. But these people have come into the officer quarters and they just run into some very, very strange things. Some of these people know ahead of time about the paranormal encounters that have been happening. Other people just come into the quarters just to stay the night as far as historical value, and then run into sometimes quite scary things. So we're gonna go ahead with my team, my wife, JC Cortez, Edward De La Rosa with the Graveyard Shift tonight. We're gonna see if some of these stories are true or not. So stay tuned.